All right, here we go. Quiet! Roll 'em!
Joker was directed by Todd Phillips and stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, and Zazie Beetz, and looks like DC can make a great movie. I mean, it's just like, this was one of my anticipated movies of the year. The trailer looked good, everything looked good. So DC can make great comic book movies. So I'm just like wondering, well, what the hell happened with the DCEU? That looked like a big pile of mess. But this is like, and this is what I keep telling, like I told this in my trailer reaction review. DC, you are better at telling simple one character trait stories. We don't need all this world building, you know. Yes, it's fun to see all the other characters, to see Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, everybody together. But the strengths of the movies that you guys do is better at, like, you know, having a simple story or one-sided story. It's like if you look at the Dark Knight trilogy, you know, that's its own trilogy. It doesn't build like, oh yeah, in the next, and we can have this and this and this in this movie. No, it's just like it tells the story of Batman. And this is what this movie is also like. It's focusing on those characters because the DC characters are so great, you know, that they don't need no giant world building like Marvel do. And this is what this movie really shows. Like in the first couple minutes of this movie, the movie grabs you and gets you invested straight onto the character, into the history, and you really feel for the character. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker is so perfect in this movie. This is one of my favorite roles he's done. I think this is one of his best performances he has done, and it is one of the best performances of the year. Like, seriously, he really made it perfectly, and this movie did in such a great direction. The cinematography is beautiful in this movie. Like, I was never bored. This movie never went over the top comic book act, like, you know, there's not in the third act, you know, Batman shows up, you know, and 15,000 guns and blazing and a giant beam and all that stuff. No, you know, it's this nice simple story of this man struggling with mental illness and, you know, and PTSD, I think it's called, or something like that, you know, where you laugh uncontrollably, which also is so affected to the character. I mean, this is really, like, you can see, you feel for the character, you know, how he's struggling, how he's, you know, tries to adapt to the world, how he wants to make everybody smile. And it's just like, it's such a great story told. And now this movie is also, you have to really, this is the type of movie you have to watch a couple times. A lot of stuff in the movie is also like, it's not always true what happens. Like, a lot of the things is just like stuff that Joker sees in his head. Like, we will see certain type of sequences in the movie happen, but then you see, oh, that was just all in his head. And it leaves this great question in this movie, where it's just like, did any of this really happen? Did not? Did this happen? Did this happen? Like, this movie really throws you off and keeps you guessing throughout the whole thing, which was just refreshing and fun to see. Now, Zazie Beetz in the movie, who I really loved her in Deadpool. Atlanta was really great. So I was excited for her to see in the movie. Her character was fun and interesting. You know, the way it goes with the Arthur's character was really great done. Robert De Niro was also fun in the movie. And yes, this movie also uses tropes like from other films we have seen before. Like, for example, The Comedy Man, like the former Scorsese movie with Robert De Niro. There are a few aspects of that movie that are kind of like seen done here too. But it just like, it was such a refreshing tale and everything. It just keeps you, I just had a smile on my face the whole time. And we do get to see another interpretation of, you know, Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne as a child, Alfred. That was really fun in the movie. They really set up something fun with that too. The whole way the character acts and is and builds and all the sequences that happens, like, it was really so well paced that there really was no one moment that really dragged in the movie. Because every time Joaquin Phoenix is on screen, you know, he just grabs, like, you never know what will happen. You never know what he will do. And it's just such a great fun with this movie. Like, the best overall summary of this movie I can do, this is a beautiful, sad story. And which I mean is beautifully shown, beautifully told and expressed, but it's a sad story overall, you know, of this guy struggling to his life, you know, and just want to make people smile. And it really does, they really made a great time with this movie. As far as negatives go, I was really thinking the whole time, like, do I have any problems with this movie? Like, I was really thinking, like, that was one thing I would say. Not nitpicky, I just think it's sometimes, but I don't see, it's hard to say if this was intentional or not, because since you have a lot of sequences that are, some of them are real, some of them are not real, it goes to this back, it plays with you this back and forth, you know, because we see it from the perspective of Arthur. So sometimes the storytelling can be a few times a little bit messy, but it still kind of fits in. We are seeing the movie through Arthur's eyes, how his mind works, how his mind is. It doesn't become that messy because we see it through his eyes. Like I said, I had great fun with this movie. It was such an awesome movie. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix in this movie should really win Best Actor. If they nominate him, you know, he should be nominated at least for this movie. This is really such a great performance. I cannot give this movie enough praise. And if they decide to make a sequel, I'm interested to see what they would do, if they would continue on with this character, or if they leave it just with a one-off movie. DC, continue doing movies like that. This is what we want. We don't need no big CGI fest. And it was also such a great part of the movie. There is no CGI in the movie. I mean, yes, there's probably like bits and pieces, like, but you don't have no big CGI characters or green screen backgrounds, and everything. Just like the setting and the way the movie feels, in the time period of the 1980s, like you really feel like all the gritty, how Gotham is and all this tribe. And it's just like such a really great movie. I really love this movie. I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. Joker. I know everybody's going to see this movie. Let me know what you think about this movie. Do you agree? Did you like it? Did you not love it? I mean, there's probably somebody who always doesn't like a DC movie, but like this is really a great point for DC. Like if they really have a great movie now, so focus on more simpler stories to tell and try not to go for the big over the top thing. Like I think that's the big over the top fits more to Marvel, and DC is more like this, simple stories to tell, and it fits better to the characters. Like I said, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you have a great day, and as always, just remember, put a smile on your face.